Coming to you from the Hudson Media Group studio, this is Talking Politics. And I'm New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, a top 50 Latino as voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative, as well as being the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media. Certainly, folks, traffic will tell you, and all of my media brand, the People's Choice and the People's Voice, and last but not least, the most handsome face that runs the place. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Folks, once again, happy December to you all as we are approaching the holiday season. Hopefully all of you had a wonderful and festive Hanukkah. For all my fellow Christians out there, again, Christmas is right around the corner. Hopefully you got all your shopping done and get to enjoy Christmas with friends and family. Again, also as we enter the new year, which is also right around the corner. But here on Talking Politics, we never take a break, folks. So let's get started. Here's what I'm thinking about right now. Now, certainly, ladies and gentlemen, it's been all over the news cycle for the last week or so. It's first reported by John Hines via the Hudson County View, along with other media outlets in both Hudson County and statewide. Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala has announced his intent to run in next June's primary to challenge incumbent U.S. Representative Ron Menendez in the 8th Congressional District. I'm not sure if you had a chance to check out his campaign video, which runs well over 2 minutes. We'll play a little bit right now, and certainly I'll have a lot to say after you check it out. So let's see what he says.
This is a story about a Jersey kid who grew up not looking like all the other Jersey kids. My parents came here from India to work hard and honestly, with only the promise of opportunity, and to practice our Sikh faith in a country where it is self-evident that all of us are created equal. But that didn't stop the schoolyard bullies from hurling insults or tugging on my hair. I fought back the only way I knew how, on the diamond and on the court.
Well, folks, there's a lot to unpackage there. And, I'm going to try to be as objective as I possibly can, because as you all know, I don't think very highly of Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala. He's a clown. Very simple. That's it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sort of dance around it. He's a clown, and he acts like a clown, and he's been a clown in Hoboken, along with all of his minions that just sort of are, glad, happy, yes men and women. And we all know who they are, right? I talk about them quite regularly. The Lollipop Guild, Joe Quintero, Emily Jabor, Phil Cohen, right? Vijay Charari, as well as, all the rest of his minions at City Hall. But this isn't about the Lollipop Guild, okay? I mean, they're incompetent in their own way. And thankfully, none of them are running to represent us in the 8th Congressional District. But Ravi Bala is. And let's break down some of the talking points from his campaign video. So, for example, he says, quote, "We are at a pivotal moment in our nation, facing rising sea levels," which, again, Ravi, you'd rather plant trees and open, the next park in Hoboken than really address, sea levels in Hoboken. So let's stop with being disingenuous here. Rising inequality. Well, again, Ravi, you've also let developers come into Hoboken and have contributed to the gentrification. Now, I don't want to say you're completely guilty of it. Your predecessor, Don Zimmer, was equally as culpable in this. And thankfully, we got rid of her sorry ass some years ago when she decided not to run for mayor again. But Hoboken residents have been stuck with you since 2017. Okay? Having said that, right? So we talk about, again, also, and rising hatred. Hatred of what? It's not of you. I mean, listen, folks, there's a lot of reasons to dislike Ravi Bala, but if you're going to go for the low-hanging fruit that he's a Sikh Indian and that he was raised differently, or that he subscribes to a different religion, or that he just subscribes to a different culture, then I have no use for you, because that's not what my bones to pick are with Ravi Bala. My bones to pick with Ravi Bala is that he's a con man. He has consistently been disingenuous with Hoboken residents for quite some time. He virtue signals, whether it's during Pride Month, whether it's wasting taxpayer dollars. Again, listen, folks, I get it during the month of June. You want to paint the sidewalks and the crosswalks in Hoboken, all the rainbow colors, be my guest, whatever. Those aren't my tax dollars, thankfully. But when June 30th at 11:59 p.m. hits and it's already July 1st in less than a minute, okay, that's it. Move on already. But him, along with, again, the Lollipop Guild, fixate on this stuff. They'd rather focus on Drag Queen Story Hour and making sure that we acquiesce to every lesbian, that we acquiesce to every LGBT person that there's actually, when you think about it, folks, when you think about LGBTQ, right, the acronym itself, and like the B in it, right, bisexual, doesn't that just basically infer that there's only two genders? So why are people on the left always having meltdowns about gender discussions, right? Kind of makes you think about it a little bit more, huh? But anyway, the point is that this is why it's easy to dislike Ravi Bala, not the low-hanging fruit stuff. Again, if that's what you want to subscribe to, that's on you, but I don't have any use for you because, again, you're not contributing anything intellectually to the conversation. My issues with Ravi Bala, again, are the disingenuous nature of his persona and the way he governs in Hoboken, again, and those that enable him in the city council, again, otherwise known as the Lollipop Guild. So let's keep going here. He would say, for Congress to rise to the challenge, we need new voices and new leadership. Leadership that is focused on making real progress on solving problems and ensuring that all New Jerseyans and Americans, no matter their skin color, ethnicity, gender, whom they choose to love, or where they start in life, can still realize the American dream. Now, certainly, Bala highlighted his Sikh faith and the discrimination he faced because of it, highlighting the infamous, quote, terror flyer that hit days before the 2017 mayoral contest. And folks, listen, I don't want to start subscribing to conspiracy theories, but, awfully interesting of when those flyers started circulating just days before an election. Would I put it past anybody in his camp to do something that dishonest and shady? Of course not. There's plenty of dishonest and shady people in the Ravi Bala camp. Okay? So he goes on to say, quote, now I'm running for Congress in New Jersey's 8th congressional district because I believe that America is better than the demagogues who seek to divide us or the politicians who strive only to serve themselves, taking a shot at Menendez and his father. Well, let me say this, okay? And I know Bob and Rob personally. I can call Senator Bob Menendez on his cell phone, and he'll take my call. Or if not, he'll send a text and say, hey, Fernando, how are you? Let me call you back. I'm in a meeting or whatever. So he'll be responsive to me, all right? If I have to contact Rob Menendez, I'll certainly get the same consideration. So, yes, some people might say I'm maybe not the most objective person to talk about the Menendez family. But what I will say is that despite my rapport with them, okay, I'm also intellectually honest, which is what many journalists, well, really the propagandists who masquerade as journalists in New Jersey tend to be, intellectually dishonest. Okay? Let's be objective about this situation here for a moment. All right? Yes, it's easy to pile on Rob. It's easy to pile on Rob's dad. But folks, there's something called due process. And I understand how incriminating it looks. We understand the presentation that the U.S. attorneys gave all of us during that press conference. We've seen news sites in New Jersey report on gold bars or cars given to the senator's wife or money being exchanged, whatever the case may be. Folks, yes, it looks incriminating, but there's something that's called the presumption of innocence. Just like people want to extend it to the 45th president, which he's entitled to. Again, that's our legal system, folks. All right? That's the 14th Amendment, the importance of due process. Okay? The importance of the 5th Amendment. Okay? The 6th Amendment, right to counsel, right to a jury trial. See, these are all fundamental rights that I believe in. Now, you don't have to go to law school or have a law degree to understand what these mean. Okay? You can simply pick up a copy of the Bill of Rights and read it for yourself. But just like I expect and hope that the 45th president is, entitled to due process, the same goes for Bob Menendez. And I know that might not be popular for some people. Some people might say, well, Fernando, you're conservative. You need to be rooting for your side. And I do. Trust me, I do. But I'm also, again, intellectually honest and philosophically consistent. And that's what we need to be. So just like I mentioned, right, that it's low-hanging fruit if you want to go after Ravi Bala based on his faith or his appearance, hey, have at it if you want. But again, I have no use for you because that's not what I object to when it comes to Ravi Bala. And if Ravi Bala, just like a lot of other people, okay, within the Democrat Party and in the liberal media establishment here in New Jersey, let's be honest, Politico, New Jersey, Insider NJ, the Star Ledger, NJ.com, the New Jersey Monitor, okay, the Bergen Record, take your pick, folks. NJ Spotlight News, yes, everybody has something to say about Senator Bob Menendez, and that's fine. But I'm not going to go for the low-hanging fruit. What Robbie needs to focus on is very simply, what has Rob done wrong in just his first term as a freshman U.S. representative? Now, there are some positions Rob Menendez takes, and he knows this firsthand because we've had lunch multiple times and we've had, private discussions and drinks, and we can talk like men and have open and honest debates. And Rob knows where I disagree with him. All right? But what I'm not going to accuse Rob of is being lazy, because he's not. He's worked. He goes to events. He listens to constituents. Okay? His office has addressed constituent concerns on a timely and a very prompt manner. Now, again, you don't have to like Rob, you don't have to like his dad, but there's no denying his work ethic. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to ask Ravi Bala at some point, if he ever has the guts to come on one of my shows and sit down and have a conversation with me, I'm going to say, Mayor, what exactly do you object to? And don't reference Representative Menendez's father. That's not who's on, again, this is not who you're running. You're running against Rob Menendez, not Bob Menendez. What exactly do you object to? What exactly do you not like about Rob Menendez's record? Again, you're both, right? You're both progressives, right? You're both Democrats. So what exactly are you objecting to? Are you just running because you're looking just to be an opportunist? Because that's what you are. Let's be honest, Robbie. No, you're not fooling anybody. Just like the rest of your little contingency, right? Joe Quintero, Emily Jabor, right? Phil Cohen, you're all political whores. Let's be honest. You'll whore yourselves out politically for the next cause if it benefits you. Who are you kidding? And that's not opinion, folks. That's fact. You can look at them. You can see their record. You can see their behavior. I mean, I don't have to tell you this. Okay, I'm not making this up, folks. It's fact. It's out there. Okay, the internet doesn't forget, and neither do I. So, Ravi, again, what is your platform going to be on? That you're the first Sikh mayor? You're looking to be the first Sikh representative in the House in New Jersey history? That's not enough, Ravi. Because if you're going to run on your record, well, let's talk about your record. You've allowed gentrification right under your nose. Okay? You've basically have been quite punitive with the local economy. You've been punitive against the nightlife industry in Hoboken. I'm really surprised you didn't bitch and moan right before SantaCon last weekend. When we know that, again, trying to recover from COVID, a lot of these restaurants and clubs and lounges have been struggling to regain their footing and their profit margin. So whether it's that bar crawl or the Leprechaun, St. Patty's bar crawl in March, 2 bar crawls a year, again, you used to bitch and moan about that, not so much anymore. But what exactly are you going to run on, Ravi? Because, number one, Hoboken is still rat infested. Never mind the rats that work at City Hall, like those rats. I'm talking about actual rodents, right? Like that carry bacteria that are walking the streets or running the streets, right? They're infesting buildings, playgrounds, making it dangerous for kids and seniors, right? Or the rising sea levels. Yes, it's great to plant a tree and say, yes, I'm climate friendly. And yes, I support the LGBTQ community having another drag queen story hour. That's all well and good, Ravi. How is that helping sea levels? Exactly. So what exactly are you going to run on? What are you going to tell voters leading up to next June's primary that you're a better choice than Rob Menendez? Sure, you can raise money. Hell, the Sikh community has a lot of disposable income and money laying around, and they'll come and support you. All these business owners, absolutely, yes, it becomes a very tribal thing. I understand. I'm sure a lot of Hispanic-owned businesses will support Rob too. But Robbie, let's be fair. What are you going to run on? What are you going to say about Rob Menendez that, again, doesn't include his father? Yes, hey, like any good son, he's standing by his dad. What happens in court, we'll find out, folks. A lot of trials start in 2024, right? The former president's trial in Georgia begins. I know the senator's trial in federal court begins in May. I mean, again, folks, it seems like 2024 will be the year to watch out for, not just because it's a presidential election year. There are Senate races that are interesting, like here in New Jersey. House races all over the country, especially here in New Jersey. Okay? Some municipal races, perhaps. But at the end of the day, like, it's about platforms. What are you telling voters, Robbie, about why you're a better choice? Because if we're going to look at the city of Hoboken as the litmus test and the precedent to go on, I hate to tell you, Robbie, you can raise all the money you want. You're going to get smoked. Never mind the county line supporting Rob Menendez. Let's forget for a moment that the county line exists. Let's forget about that. Let's just go on record. And do you think you stand a chance running against Rob Menendez when you've basically helped drive Hoboken into the ground, while Hoboken's still as expensive as it's ever been to live in, while parking has not been addressed. Yeah, you want to open in the next park. That's great. How about addressing parking for residents? How about addressing parking for visitors that want to go to Hoboken to eat? Because there's lots of great restaurants and amenities there. But yeah, you'd rather plant a tree. You'd rather acquiesce to lesbians at City Hall or during Drag Queen Story Hour. That's not a platform, Ravi. That's called virtue signaling. That's called whoring yourself out politically to score political points. Yeah, that might win you some votes on social media and get you some new followers. And that might have Emily Jabor and Phil Cohen dancing like fools once again in front of a camera. But is it going to win votes in June? Spoiler alert, folks, it's not. And Ravi's going to learn the hard way come primary season. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. And now some local stories for your consideration. A special thank you to Ron Zetlinger, the editor-in-chief at the Jersey Journal, for his reporting on this story. So SantaCon took place last weekend, folks, in the Mile Square City, and thankfully only 2 arrests and 34 summonses were issued during the annual Christmas-themed bar crawl. Now, the city received 171 calls for service between the hours of noon Saturday and 4 a.m. Sunday morning. Hoboken Public Safety spokeswoman Marcy Rubin said on Monday morning, some 14 people were transported to the emergency department at CarePoint Health's Hoboken Center. Folks, this is certainly a far cry from a lot of the debauchery of years past. And I can tell you, when I went to Hoboken SantaCon or Leprechaun, I mean, folks, those were like, talk about a blank show. I mean, it's a family program, so I think you can know what I'm referring there to. But yeah, great place to meet women, hook up, drink, wear green or wear a Santa hat or Santa outfits or ugly sweaters. Yeah, folks, it's great. It's a great moment of youth for us to enjoy. But the bottom line is this, folks, that it's 2 bar crawls in a calendar year. Say it again, 2 bar crawls. And yet Hoboken residents will bitch and moan to the moon about how unsavory this is. Folks, let's be honest. I'm sure you can find something to do on those Saturday mornings and afternoons when these bar crawls take place. They're both during the winter, okay? Maybe you want to take your kids or you go visit your in-laws. Maybe take the kids to the museum. You know what? Go Christmas shopping. Take advantage, especially in December. Go to the mall, okay? There's the Jersey Gardens Mall in Elizabeth, Garden State Plaza in Paramus Park Mall, some of the outlet malls, whether Woodbury Commons, or even up in upstate New York. Folks, there's plenty of things to do. You can live without being in Hoboken 2 Saturdays out of the year. So if you're going to bitch and moan about some vibrancy in downtown Hoboken and some of these restaurants and lounges that are trying to stay afloat, that are trying to stay profitable, that are trying to stay in business, it's not the end of the world. Okay, you're grown-ass adults. And I find it hysterical on social media. And there's tons of pages, folks, that enable this nonsense, that enable people to go on there and spew their rhetoric. I remember there was one publication sometime called HMAG. I forgot who the editor-in-chief was. He was like such an insufferable douchebag. But the point was that it was news sites like that and others that would bitch and moan and have these grievances. Like you thought it was Festivus. They're airing their grievances out about why these bar crawls are so bad. Now, were they the same bar crawls from 10 years ago? Of course not. And those were great. I mean, listen, I can tell you some stories that you wouldn't believe about some of the things I was doing, and some of the debauchery I was engaging in during those bar crawls. But again, folks, when you're young, you do those things. And hopefully as we get older, we walk away from them and do something else. But the bottom line is that, hey, it's not the end of the world. And, when you look at, again, great job by the Hoboken Police Department. Okay. Also, again, apparently only 2 bars were cited for over occupancy by the city's fire department. And also all public safety divisions had additional staff on duty and certainly had a zero tolerance policy that was implemented Saturday for those events. Of course, SantaCon and also Hoboken. So, for example, in 2019, there were more than 500 calls for service and 8 arrests, along with 49 summonses. There were 17 arrests in 2017 and 14 arrests in 2016. So, folks, the number's gone down. The brave and hardworking men and women in blue at the Hoboken Police Department have done a marvelous job in keeping control and keeping it peaceful, but also allowing kids and adults and young adults, even older adults, to have some fun. That's what these bar crawls are all for. And folks, in a time when there aren't a lot of things that are fun anymore, let people have their fun for only 2 bar crawls every single year. As for residents, just suck it up. There are worse things to complain about on an everyday basis. Let's stay in Hoboken and also sort of include the city of Bayonne on this story. And once again, thank you to John Highness, the editor-in-chief of the Hudson County View, for his exceptional reporting on this. So apparently it's being alleged that CarePoint Health is claiming they'll need $130 million in state funding to operate, quote, at an optimal pace. Now, certainly a change.org petition was started online in hopes of attaining additional financial support. Now, according to a statement by CarePoint Health President and CEO, Dr. Achita Malik, Dr. Malik went on to say, quote, "We urge our state leadership to recognize the urgent need that exists at our hospitals and allocate appropriate funding from the state budget and any available discretionary funds towards CarePoint's community health initiatives. We are encouraging all Hudson County residents to join this effort by signing our petition and supporting a truly noble cause by advocating for continued access to essential health care services in Hudson County." Now, last week it was reported that the New Jersey Department of Health, who noted recently in October as well that the Hoboken University Medical Center has, quote, high concern with respect to financial distress, dispersed $10 million that was allocated to CarePoint Health in the 2023 budget. So CarePoint is in need of at least $100 million in state appropriations and an additional $30 million of a governor's grant in order to continue operating at an optimal pace that fulfills their mission to treat every patient that comes to a CarePoint facility. Now, beginning with the landlord of a Hoboken doctor's office, CarePoint, who also owns the Bayonne Medical Center and Christ Hospital in Jersey City, has been sued approximately $4.7 million by vendors alleging non-payment, though they have settled their rent issues at their 14th Street property. Now, the organization cites the effects of rising healthcare costs, escalating homelessness, and uncompensated care demands as reasons for their financial struggles. CarePoint also is noting that while the total American Rescue Plan Act distribution to New Jersey hospitals reached nearly $700 million by the end of 2023, but that still isn't enough. Now, the situation is becoming increasingly dire, with CarePoint's emergency departments overwhelmed by the growing number of local homeless patients, totaling 4,300 and a staggering 17,500 charity care patients to date, well surpassing last year's numbers. To that end, since the beginning of COVID-19, CarePoint's emergency rooms and hospitals have seen around 60,000 charity patients, 200,000 Medicaid patients, and have accepted 12,000 homeless patients. Folks, this isn't sustainable. What I would also say is that, like anything else, folks, I'm always worried about where state money is going. I'm always worried about the actual spending at these hospitals. What's the administration doing? Are people at the top, administrators, are they inflating their salaries? Is it trickling down to where nurses and doctors are being compensated fairly and adequately? Are the necessary supplies being ordered to a hospital? Well, folks, I think that's what an audit's for. So for all the legislators out there in Trenton, I know you're right now during your recess and you'll resume sort of your full-time duties in the legislature, both in the state assembly and state senate in early January. Well, I would argue that, can we do an audit here of CarePoint Health? Can we demand to see how the money's being spent, where it's being spent, and who's spending it? I don't think it's a lot to ask for. Again, if they're asking for well over $100 million in taxpayer money, I guess somewhere there needs to be some accountability. I don't know about you folks, but I would hope that the legislature looks into CarePoint Health. Now listen, they've been a wonderful medical institution. They have, as you see, again, as the reporting will stipulate, they've treated tens of thousands of people, both homeless and residents alike. And certainly, yes, it's great to have these hospitals and resources at our disposal and at close proximity for us. But I would argue, folks, let's look into the numbers, let's look at the books. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And would overspending be a problem? It's a problem everywhere. But I would say if you want tax money, you have to be willing to open the books and hold yourselves accountable. And again, practice some transparency. Will CarePoint Health do that? I don't know, folks. Stay tuned for that because, hey, that might be a point of divide in 2024 with the state legislature. And finally, folks, this is the last broadcast of 2023. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you that continue to tune in every single week here to Talking Politics via the Hudson Media Group. I can't say really how just privileged I am to be working here with its CEO and President of Programming, Patrick O'Malia, the outstanding staff that work here, that work tireless hours to make me look good on camera, to make all of the hosts look incredibly good. So again, kudos to the staff that work so well here with me, and I'm grateful for their patience and their cooperation, and quite frankly, their diligence and their attention to detail, which is why this show continues to be well produced, as well as all the other programs here with the Hudson Media Group. But I also want to say something else, because I know that many people, especially on the left and local politics, or in Hudson County or in New Jersey, or whether it's the establishment media here in the Garden State, all seem to have a little bit something to say about Fernando Uribe. They don't like my brand of politics. They don't like what I have to say. They don't like what I do. Well, again, it's, I feel sorry for you guys, because I'm not going anywhere. And the traffic that my media brand continues to produce will tell you also that I'm not going anywhere. But you see, folks, here's the thing. And I was at home the other day, sort of racking my brain, and I'm thinking, Fernando, what's your role? What's your role right now in journalism? What's your role in media? And I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking to myself, And I'm thinking to myself, I get it. The reason I'm vital to you, ladies and gentlemen, is because this level of honesty that you get with me is necessary and almost crucial in this era of deception that we live in. Okay? I'll say that again for all of you sitting in the back there that maybe didn't hear it right and said, wait, did he just have the audacity to say that? Yes, folks. I am necessary and vital to you, because this level of honesty that you get with me, not just on this show, but all my media brand, is necessary and almost a must in this era of deception that we live in. See, I'm proud to be your hero in journalism, folks. And I'm not trying to sort of inflate my importance here, but folks, I'm the hero that you need right now in New Jersey media, now more than ever. When you have blatantly deceptive news sites in the state of New Jersey, with columnists at Politico New Jersey, Insider NJ, the New Jersey Monitor, NJ Spotlight News, NorthJersey.com, the New Jersey Monitor, okay? The Star Ledger. I mean, folks, take your pick, okay? I'm the hero you need right now in a time where the left continues to monopolize information and demonize those of us that speak the truth. Well, I'll continue speaking for all of you. And that's something that I'll never quit on, because I'll never quit on you. That's my vow to you. When I started this show here with the Hudson Media Group in April of 2019, as we hit the 5-year mark here with the Hudson Media Group, talking politics isn't going anywhere. And neither is Fernando Uribe. A lot of the haters out there, all I can say is that, hey, during the holiday season, if you get a gift card, go to your local Walgreens or CVS or Duane Reade and pick up some ointment for that burn, because quite frankly, it must be stinging just about now. So yeah, folks, I'm not going anywhere, so get used to it, especially in 2024. And that's our show for this year. Once again, I want to thank the Hudson Media Group for their support of the program. And of course, check out all the excellent content brought to you by the Hudson Media Group. Please go to their websites, www.hmgtvshows.com, as well as www.livestream.com/hmgtv. Don't forget to like them on Facebook, of course. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to the Hudson Media Group on YouTube, and you'll be updated and notified of all the wonderful content, whether it's Talking Politics with Fernando Uribe, Hudson County Live, other great programming hosted by County Commissioner Anthony Romano, and other great talents that the Hudson Media Group works with. So again, folks, check them all out, and certainly make sure you check out my media brand as well. Obviously, there you see my Instagram and Twitter. Also, make sure you like me on Facebook, folks. I appreciate all of your support in 2023, and let's certainly keep it going in 2024. And always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. I am New Jersey's premier award-winning journalist, Top 50 Latino, as voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with the United States Latino Affairs Initiative. Certainly, I'll keep being the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media. Of course, I'll keep being the people's choice and the people's voice and the people's choice. And certainly, folks, the most handsome face that runs the place. Yes, it's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, folks. Have a happy and festive new year. And I'll see you all in 2024 on the Hudson Media Group. And thanks for stopping by.